This episode is sponsored by NoMA, No More Abuse, founded by Coach Dee. NoMA is a supportive community dedicated to helping women heal and rebuild their lives after experiencing abuse. With a focus on faith, empowerment, and trauma-informed support, NoMA provides resources and encouragement to help women move forward with strength and purpose. Because as Coach Dee reminds us, there is healing on the other side of trauma. For more information, please go to nomoreabusenoma.com for more information. Now back to the show.
Virtuous woman, she's worth more than gold. She doesn't.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Becoming the Proverbs Studying Woman podcast. I'm your host, Chioma Kehinde, also known as Special Agent Chi. And on today's show, we have Dr. Likmede, also known as Coach Dee. Coach Dee is a survivor advocate and a founder of NoMA, where NoMA Abuse, supporting survivors on their healing journey with courage, compassion, and faith. Welcome to the show, Coach Dee, my own personal coach. Coach Dee, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Special Agent Chief, for having me. It's an honor. I don't take it for granted. Thank you
no, I
so
don't.
much.
No, I don't take you for granted because I know you're a busy, busy woman. So it's an honor to just have you on the show and just agreeing to do the podcast. I really, really do appreciate it. And
Thank you.
so we're gonna get started. So what would you, in one sentence, say it is that you do? What is it that you do?
It's hard to put it in one sentence, but I can say that what I do is I support women on their healing journeys. As a trauma survivor, that's what I do. I feel like God put an SOS out on his daughters, save our sisters, and he put that SOS in my hands and said, go save my daughters. And so I support people who've been through trauma, IPV, intimate partner violence, DV, domestic violence, especially after they leave, because that's one of the most difficult times in the life of a survivor. So in summary, I support women on their healing journeys with a lot of compassion, mixed with faith and love.
Yeah, that's amazing. So when did you first sense this calling to do this?
It's been many years since I felt like I was called to women. I remember even when I was in Nigeria, God had spoken to me about his daughters. And he said the reason the enemy is after his daughters is because of the promise from the very beginning. And so to catch them young, what the enemy does is he starts to defile them from a very young age. So I've for many years now felt like I was called to women. I just didn't know what was going to be like this. I dealt with my own personal trauma, personal domestic abuse, but I didn't know that at the end of the day, I would be supporting women in this capacity. I've had the honor and the privilege of working with young women, older women. I remember one in particular, she was defiled as early as the age of 3. And so it's been a burden on my heart for a long time. I just didn't know it would take this route.
Yes, yeah, but I feel sometimes maybe on the journey, God kind of guides you in terms of I guess you have that destination, but it's like the roads maybe just like with Joseph, his
Yes,
destination was to get the nations in terms of saving them from famine, but his
right.
journey was not an easy one, but nevertheless it was he still came to the destination of what he had to do. So
That's
you're at your
right.
destination. However, the journey that have been, you are at that journey that's on there. So
Yes.
how do you balance all this? Because I know you have Norma and you probably you have other priorities. How do you balance all of this?
That's a great question. I can't even tell you that this is how I do it, but I do know that the grace of God has been sufficient. When God calls, he equips. And even though I have a full-time job, I do this after work, and on the weekends. Sometimes I'm up late into the night, talking to people, ministering to people. I don't just want to call it talking, ministering to people, loving on people. And somehow God's grace just carries me through each day and, move on to the next. So I can't tell you that this is how I balance it, but I just know that somehow I balance it. Yesterday night, for example, I was praying. I couldn't sleep. Even though I had said I was going to go to bed, I couldn't sleep. And so I just lay on my sofa and I was praying. And there was an issue that had come up during the day. And I just felt like, go take care of it now, go tackle it. And then I made that phone call, and on that phone call, the issue was resolved. So
Oh,
the Holy Spirit helps me, to navigate the waters, to take the next step. There's some things I want to do, and I just get a check in my spirit. My discernment has sharpened since walking away from abuse. So I think that also helps, knowing what to do and when.
yeah, that's true. Environment matters in terms of
Yes,
that. Like, especially if you are in a toxic environment, it's kind of hard to think, I feel like. So, like you said, with the discernment, is like, okay, you're not able to, you're almost second guessing, I feel like, when you do that,
right,
when
right.
you're like in that type of environment. So what season would you
So,
say you're, oh,
so
sorry, go
before
ahead.
you go on, when you talk about not being able to think, abuse puts you in a state of confusion. You
Mhm.
don't have clarity. So when you say you're not able to think, you're very right. And so when survivors come out, one of the things I encourage them is to read so that they can sharpen their intellect again and start to think, make decisions by themselves. Because while in that relationship, they were being controlled and couldn't decide by themselves. And so thinking becomes, it's a lot of fogginess that you deal with when you're there. But when you come out, then you can actually start to think. Yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there.
Yes, no, absolutely, absolutely. So, what season would you say you're in? Because I know you said you had that journey. What season would you say you're in right now?
I'm in a season of building, um, I want to call it a legacy because NoMA is beyond me. NoMA is God's child. And so I'm building, and God is helping me to build. I have the Proverbs 31 business systems helping me to build. And you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you,
I
thank
have
you.
other people, in my corner who are also helping, but we're building right now. And we're building because, like I said, this is beyond Norma. This is beyond me. God is looking for his daughters. He's looking to rescue his daughters. Too many of his daughters are in Egypt, and he
Hmm.
wants to bring them out into Canaan, the promised land, the land that flows with milk and honey. But he needs a system, he needs a platform, and that's what NoMA is. NoMA is his hand. Is God's hands. Yes, his hands, his feet, everything that he needs NoMA to be. That's what NoMA is, and so we're building right now so that even when we're no longer here, we'll continue to save our sisters. We're trusting God for a shift in the narrative, and this is why we keep having conversations. I have conversations with different people all the time. um, we want to build so that in years to come, people will have a place to run to. We are hoping to be able to build homes for women in abusive relationships, God helping us, but we'll get there. We're still building.
Yes, yes, and I think God definitely is sending. Even just how you and I met,
It's a
and
miracle.
it can only be God because
Yeah.
how we met doesn't even make sense of just how we even connected. So that's just
God, God is in the business.
yes, no, he is definitely, definitely. So, can you talk a little bit more about NOMA? Of just because you had talked a little bit of just what we were just doing. Just can you just talk, just to give a little bit more details about NOMA and just also your coaching too, as well?
Yeah. Absolutely. So NoMA stands for No More Abuse. And the goal of NoMA, what we stand for is we stand as a pillar for women to hold on to. Our goal is to have a society where abuse is no longer a thing. We're looking, particularly in the church. So I am not as concerned about the world as I am about the church because there's been a rise in abuse in the church. A lot of women have lost their lives. Men too. We recently just lost a man in our community, which is so sad. And I tell people that abuse is not gender specific. It impacts both men and women. And NOMA stands for support. NOMA stands for elimination of trauma. I mean, I don't think we can absolutely eliminate trauma, but we can stem the tide. Um, and, children are growing in these toxic relationships. How do we help them? How do we save them? What do we do? And this is why NOMA exists, to be able to bring people to a place of clarity and a place of safety. So at NoMA, we offer different packages for coaching. There's one-on-one coaching, and we have group coachings as well. To be honest, I put a pause on my one-on-ones because it was beginning to drain me emotionally, the things I was hearing. Um, you know, you have something called compassion fatigue.
Mm.
And I got to that point where I said, okay, let's take a pause here. But we do offer coaching services. Some of the courses we offer, like I have, there's one that's called the Voice Restoration Journey, where we
Okay.
advocate safety before sound, we advocate validation before volume, alignment before action. We want you to be aligned before you take any steps. We want you to be safe, first of all, before you see anything. It took me 2 years to tell my story, but in the 2 years, God was working on my safety, safety before sound. Before you say anything, be safe first before you go loud. Let's make sure you're validated. You're validating yourself because people go back into trauma, still looking for validation because they have not learned to validate themselves or allow God to validate them. We also have purposeful realignment. In that one, we talk about how we got to where we are. How did we even get into the space where we're dealing with trauma in the first place? What happened in our backgrounds? So we have that, and we help you to uncover some things. I have the 4 S's of trauma recovery. That one is, if you want to know more, just contact me.
No, no, we'll have all these details in the show notes.
Okay,
So that
okay,
way that people can, if they are looking for it, they will definitely, we'll have this in the show notes as well.
okay, okay. Um, One of the things that, you know, I do is I love on people because in that traumatic relationship, you did not feel loved, you didn't feel heard. So we do a lot of listening, and then we coach you. Now, our coaching is not advising you. We want you to be able to take decisions by yourself because that's something you didn't do when you were in that traumatic relationship. So we also have understanding trauma, which helps you to understand, what you've been through. And I have a few people that I've worked with that have walked away with clarity
Mm.
and resolve to take the next step to be the woman that God has called them to be. Because the truth is, trauma does not cancel your destiny. Trauma does not change God's plans for you. God says his thoughts towards you are thoughts of good and not of evil. So his plans are still the same. Trauma is a detour. And so we want to get you back on track to where you're turning your pain into purpose, which is what I did. Even though I didn't have any coach or anything, but God was my coach every step of the way. And now he's telling me to pay it forward, which is why we're doing all of the things that we're doing at NOMA.
Wow, that's amazing. And that's such a good in terms of the task that you did. God has graced you for the task. So it gets me so because I think you kind of talked about it with clarity. So what's a transformation, going through these programs that you've seen? What's like a transformations that you said the people experience after working with you?
I think the biggest thing is clarity,
Okay.
being able to say that this is who I am. So, of course, I always like to start with who are you? because by the time you come out of that abusive relationship, that toxic relationship, you've lost your self-worth, you've lost yourself, you don't even know who you are. One lady said to me, I don't know who I am anymore. I don't even know. I said, so what dreams did you have before? She couldn't remember what dreams she had because she had been so much under another person's control that she lost everything. She lost her self-worth. So we start with, who are you? You need to find yourself again. You need to rediscover yourself, which is where the voice restoration journey helps a lot. But I've had people come confused. They leave with clarity. They leave knowing who they are. They leave knowing their worth.
Hmm.
They leave being able to take the next step. I have something that I call the 3 A's of change. You assess your situation, you accept your circumstances, and then you act. What action you take depends on what conclusion you reached during the assessment phase. A lady came into the NoMA community very, very confused, didn't know what to do. Her husband wanted to take her abroad, but she felt like something was wrong. He had been, very abusive emotionally, verbally. He had, hit her a few times. He had
Mm.
gaslit her so many. She was confused, and finally, after after many conversations we had, she just sent me a text one day. I know what I want.
Mm.
For the first time. She knew what she wanted. And she said, I'm not going with him. I said,
Wow.
it's your decision. I don't decide for people.
Mhm.
I may make recommendations, but it is your decision because that's part of the healing journey. You need to get to the place where you take decisions by yourself
Mhm.
and be
Yeah,
able
that's
to stand in it. The first step in healing is truth, standing in your truth. First of all, knowing your truth and then standing in your truth. And once you're able to stand in your truth, truth, truth sets free. And so people live with knowing what exactly they want, what they need to do.
Yeah, I mean that is so true. Even just in forms of truth, it's form of, should I say, even deliverance. Like when you
Yes,
have the truth, like in terms of it, deliverance may not look like casting out demons or any of that stuff. Sometimes deliverance may just be just that confusion, because God has not given us a spirit of confusion, and they
right,
get that clarity. That's deliverance from that. Like you
right,
just don't have that. You're not bound by that
right,
anymore,
right.
and you're able to think through that.
When
Um,
you think of the children of Israel, they didn't really go through deliverance from demons, as it were.
right, right,
But he took them through the Red Sea. That was deliverance. Taking
exactly.
them, taking them from pain, from trauma into the promised land. They had to go through hills and valleys. And that tells me that the healing journey is not linear. That there are ups and
Mhm.
downs.
Yes.
Even as you go through the healing journey, um, it's different. There are people who don't even leave. But if you're going to stay, we tell you, stay well.
Yes.
Set boundaries, respect your own boundaries because as women, we could be very fickle.
Hmm.
You set boundaries and then, because you're in love, you break your own boundaries, So those are some of the things that we need to consider. It's not always deliverance from demons.
Hmm.
Like
Yes.
you said,
Hmm.
sometimes it's deliverance from yourself.
Hmm. Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes, definitely. So would you like to mention just any additional thing just during this show?
Yeah, I'm an author. I have
Okay, yes.
different, well, they're all devotionals. This one is a devotional,
Okay.
um,
And we'll put
thinking
links
out
of this in the
loud
show
on
notes.
the,
And we'll put links of this. Is it going to be found on Amazon or?
yes, they're on
Okay.
Amazon.
Okay.
Barnes and Noble has them. There's Genesis, there's Esther, and then there's also Ruth. No, sorry,
Okay.
Ruth. Yeah, there's
Okay.
Ruth as well. So, and then there's another one called Hold My Crown. I'm just a contributor to that one. But in that contribution, I spoke about my salvation story because I was raised Muslim and I had an encounter that brought me to Christ. Um, it was a definite encounter. It was like a Paul on the road to Damascus experience.
Oh, if you have time, are you able to talk a little bit about that if you have the
Yeah.
time?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to share. Again, I was Muslim. I went for my sister's 21st birthday back then, and she had become a Christian and said, oh, she wasn't having a party. She wanted to have a fellowship. So we went to the fellowship, and at the fellowship, a young man, he's older now, was the leader of the fellowship, and he said the Holy Spirit told him to lay hands on me and pray for me. He put his hand on my forehead, and that was the last thing I remembered.
Oh, wow.
The next time I came around, I was on the floor. And I said, what am I doing on the floor? I didn't know anything about being slain in the spirit at the time. And so they pulled me up and I went back to my sister's room. She gave me her bed that night. And I had, it wasn't a dream. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was a trance. But the lights in that room, countless.
Wow.
It was so when people say they've been to heaven and they've seen light, I can relate.
Hmm.
The lights were so bright, millions of them, and I was there. And there was a heavenly being that sat across from me. I was on my sister's bed by the wall. In the revelation, there was another bed across from me, and the heavenly being sat there and talked to me
Wow.
all through the night.
Wow.
When I woke up in the morning, there was no bed across from me. When I woke
Oh,
up,
wow.
there was no bed. Um, but a heavy load had been lifted off of me,
Mm.
and I knew it. I knew it particularly because before then I had been seeking. I knew that there was something I was missing. I had increased my 5 daily prayers as a Muslim at the time, but nothing. But that morning when I woke up, I knew that I had had an encounter and my life was different. So after that, I went to my sister's church. I still didn't give my heart to Jesus. I went back to my school, my college. I was in law school at the time. I went back to my college and I started going to church, but I still didn't give my life to Christ. Then one day, in my room by myself, someone had given me a Jimmy Swagger tape, and I played that tape. And at the end of that tape, he sang Just As I Am with that one play.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's one of my favorite hymns till tomorrow. Just as I am without one plea, but that thy blood was shed for me. And as I heard that song, I started to weep. And I knelt down in my room,
Mm.
my college dorm, and I invited Christ into my life. I haven't looked back since.
Wow.
It wasn't an easy journey. My parents were very upset with me, my
Mhm.
dad in particular, and he gave me a tough time. But I remember him saying to me, you told me you wouldn't go back and you haven't gone back. And on my wedding day, he said to me, that Jesus you are calling, hold on to him.
Mm.
He said it in Yoruba, and he said, don't cut the J out, because in Yoruba, Jesus is Jesu. If you cut the J out,
Mhm.
you have ESU, which means
Mm.
Satan.
Mhm.
And that was
Mhm.
the best advice my dad gave me on my wedding
Wow.
day. Because
Wow.
it kept me going even through my abusive marriage. It kept me going. And I never cut out the J. I held on to Jesus for dear life. And he brought
Wow.
me out in the fullness of time. So that's my salvation story in a nutshell.
Wow.
It's in the book, Hold My Crown.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I didn't bring it with me. It's somewhere on my bookshelf.
Yeah, we'll put it in the
But
show notes.
yeah.
Yes, yes. Wow, there you have it's an author. I see that was what I should have put that in the intro. You're like a woman of different, you used to be a lawyer and everything. So I said I should have had all that in the intro.
It's all right.
Do you have any upcoming offers or anything upcoming?
So for people who want to join our NoMA community, you're more than welcome. We have a hangout coming up on the 14th of this month, which is actually next week, Saturday.
Yes.
It's only for members of the community. And we also have Special Agent Chi coming to teach skills. So, she's helping us to rebuild and earn.
Okay.
people are going to be learning how to, let me see if I have it here, build a simple website from scratch, write and structure a children's storybook,
Yeah.
use smart prompts to create graphics. So she's an AI expert, so she's coming
Yes.
to show us,
Yes.
what
Yes.
to do. So thank you, Proverbs 31 woman
Yes,
business
no, no, we're
systems.
thankful for that. And it's just a way, should I say, to give back to help these women, with skills that they can learn so that way they can, have some earning potential as
Yes.
well. So
Yeah, and that's one of the things we tell women. You need to empower yourself. Find something that you can do to earn income. If I didn't have income, if I didn't have money of my own, I mean, for many years I didn't have money of my own because I kept a joint account because I thought I was being Christian. Um, but once I started to have money of my own, I started a savings account for myself. Actually, at the instance of one of my children who said, "You better start saving money because the day this man is going to throw you out, you will not have anything."
mm.
So I started to save.
Your
If
kid
I
said
didn't
that to
have,
you?
yeah, one of
Wow.
my kids
Oh,
said that to
oh
me.
wow. Oh wow.
If I didn't have savings when I walked away, I know the interesting thing is even when I left, I had left to go for on the job training when he started a smear campaign saying he didn't know where I was. I had walked away with a man, blah, 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 blah.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I said, look, I'm done. This is my third time. I had left two times before. And so this final time I said, I am not going back. And I didn't go back. But if I didn't have money, I would have gone back and I may be dead by now. There are women who've lost their minds. I have a girlfriend whose mind is badly affected by the trauma she's been through. So we encourage women to be empowered. So we appreciate the skills session, and we know
Yes.
that many women will be blessed. Even though it's for the normal community, if anybody wants to join us, um, we'll be happy to have people.
Yes. Yes, and we'll put this we're gonna put this in the show notes so that way
Okay,
everybody can, register, and even just for the different programs that are coming up, if you want to be part of the NoMA community, we'll put the details in the show notes so that way
okay.
people can join as well. And so this is the virtual hangout that Coach Dee was mentioning during the show that's happening March 14th, 2026 at 9 p.m. UK time, 10 p.m. West African time, 3 p.m. Central, and then 4 p.m. Eastern time. And then the other event that she talked about was this Rebuild and Earn, 3 skills that you can start from home. So we're going to be teaching a course on April 18th, 2026 at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 p.m. Central Time, I believe 7 p.m. West African Time, and 6 p.m. British Standard Time. So we're going to be looking forward to that. So that way, tune in, scan the QR code just to register. Now back to the show. Programs that are coming up, if you want to be part of the NoMA community, we'll put the details in the show notes so that way
Okay.
people can join as well. And so, so I always ask all my guests the same question is what quality of the Proverbs 31 woman do you most identify with right now?
Courage, courage, courage. I was just chatting with someone today, and I was telling her that courage is a gift. It's a gift that God gave women, but unfortunately, we don't tap into it. The Proverbs 31 woman is a woman I've admired,
Hmm.
and unfortunately, abusers use her as a weapon to tell us that, oh, look at the Proverbs 31 woman. It was one of the things mine told me. Look at the Proverbs 31 woman. She did everything, but she had slaves,
Hmm.
which people forget. But she was a courageous woman, courageous enough to take on a household full force, courageous enough to make investments, courageous enough to be kind.
That's true.
And so it takes courage to do many of the things that God is calling us to do, especially in this end time. It takes courage to walk away from abuse. So for anybody who's walked away from abuse, kudos to you. Um, it takes courage. So I identify with her courage,
Yeah.
and I've I've been courageous a little bit, but I still need more courage.
Hey.
My mentor will say, do it afraid. So we're still
Yeah.
doing it afraid,
Mhm.
and gathering courage as we go.
That's good. That's good. And just in addition to the Proverbs 31 woman that, people may say is also there was a Proverbs 31 man. If you notice, her husband was not into, he wasn't, I think he said he trusted her. I think it said
Yes.
on there, and he was
Mhm.
known in the field. So because of her, like his name was known in the, like, like with the
It
community or
was at the
something.
gates. It
Yes,
was at
yes,
the
yes, yes.
gates.
So is there's a Proverbs 31, but she had a man that trusted her. He had a man that I feel like was supportive of her. He trusted her
Right.
to lead in that. So
Right.
we do talk about that, but we have that Proverbs 31 man too as well.
So talking about the Proverbs 31 man, I remember when I was newly married and I complained that my husband left me to do everything. His best friend said to me, well, see, the Proverbs 31 man didn't do anything. He just sat in the gate.
That's not true.
And that's why we should read the Bible. I know the Bible.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I took it in hook, line, and sinker. I'm like, okay, he sat in the gates, but he did not make her a slave, which
Exactly.
is the whole goal of this Proverbs 31 woman, for the abusive man. He says, look at her, she's um, the epitome of hard work, yes, but
Oh, but she had that
again, to your
support.
point,
She
she
had that
had support.
support.
She
Yes,
had support.
yes, yes.
And we don't read that he defiled her
Right,
maids,
right.
right? So the Proverbs 31 man is a gentleman, treats
Hmm.
her with respect. We
Yes,
must not forget that.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Agreed. 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 So thank you so much, Coach D, my own personal coach, for
Thank
coming on
you.
the show. Thank you,
My
thank you, thank
pleasure.
you. I really,
It's
really
an
do
honor.
appreciate the time, you took because I know you're busy. I really, really do appreciate your time, invested here to come on the
Thank
show.
you.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
for what you do. Thank you because if it wasn't for you, some of the things we do would not be able to do. You make life easier
Thank
for
you.
us,
Well, we thank
and
God.
we're grateful. We
Oh,
appreciate your business. We appreciate what you do, and we'll keep tooting your horn as
yes,
best
thank
as we
you.
can.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So, folks, if you love content like this, please share, like, and subscribe to the channel so that way more folks can, listen to more content like this, and the algorithm can, push this content to those who like that
Right.
information like this. So that's it, folks. That's another episode for the Becoming the Proverbs 31 Woman podcast. I'm Chioma, your host, also known as Special Agent Chi. Until next time, stay blessed. Bye, everyone.
Perfect.